This is King Socrates of the Sandy Point Heritage Society, a non-profit self-help organization aimed at researching, documenting, preserving, and presenting the history/story of Sandy Point. Today we're featuring, I would think, episode 9 in a series of segments from an interview done with Mrs. Sylvia Mills last year. Today we featured the 9th installment and the final one. We enjoyed, I hope you've enjoyed the trip so far, down memory lane as told by teacher Miss Mills. This is the final episode, the final installment, so do enjoy, and I'll see you at the other end.
You're Mr. Rollins was a shoemaker.
I will call his son, he used to call one of his sons.
Hubert Rollins, yeah. One of them was Hubert. His wife had married to Mr. Brown afterwards.
Yes.
Yes. I see these big telephone. What are they for poles? Poles like telephone.
Utility poles?
Yes, I was wondering what.
I have no
about
idea.
6 or 7 of them planted here in that spot.
Recently?
Long ago. I always wonder whose land it is. It's next to the post, the vacant lot next to the post office.
Yeah.
I was wondering what the significance of those poles, what they were there for.
You mentioned Miss Mussington. She used to work there also?
Miss Mussington was an advisor that used to work at the post office. The advisor was used to work at the post office. Elvira Douglas. Remember her? Elvira Douglas.
Vague.
So she lives just now in front of Jane Martin there. She used to live there. She died now. She lives. Her last place of abode was up at Cleverly Hill.
A slightly different question, and that is, so you also had a lot of peers and colleagues, as you were in the teaching profession. Some of them from Sandy Point, some of them. So who are some of the more prominent ones that you can recall who worked with you from Sandy Point, and who are some of the more prominent teachers or other educators whom you worked with?
Miss Jacobs and Miss Buchanan, I am Elmina Buchanan. Did you know Enid Jacobs? They were just by the bank up there in that street, there by the bank.
Don't recall Miss Jacobs.
Enid Jacobs. I had Alexandrina Mrs. Caesar.
I recall Miss Caesar.
Yeah. You had Irma Otley. You knew Irma Otley?
I don't think so. At one time I went to St. Thomas. I had a few years from here in St. Thomas. Actually, when I left here, I was in Miss Buchanan's class, just below the pavilion. Mm-hmm. I was not the brightest bulb in the pack. But I got to St. Thomas and I was excelling. I had to change the blackboard. My work was on one side of the blackboard and the other class. I was way ahead. About 2 years of that, and I came back here and attended school. Walk in the classroom and there was algebra on the board. I'm asking, what's algebra? Me and the students here would have progressed gradually.
Yes.
To understand. I had no idea what algebra was because we do a lot of nonsense in the American school system. Here in St. Kitts it was different. It was different. So there's a vast difference in the education system, and I suffered as a result. So some of the teachers you mentioned I would have missed because at that time I was then living in the USVI. What do you call teacher Miss Pinney?
Mrs. Pinney, yes.
Yeah. I recall getting some sandwich on the sandwich trees.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And the few teachers who taught in that there. Underneath
the girls' school too. The building was of wood. And every morning it had a cellar underneath.
Have you been
where
there?
They used to put up the
band, steel band?
Our benches used to go under there every morning. Every day we had to put on the benches underneath there.
End of school day?
End of school day. And in the morning take them off. I remember I had a boy in my class from Crabville, Bernard Jones. A big boy. The big boys used to go on and take out the benches, set up the class every day. So we didn't have any classroom. Our classroom was under the girls' school.
On the lawn there where they have they have court and down the side of the trees there, I recall.
Our classroom was under the girls' school. They had a cellar like under there, so we put up our stuff every night, blackboard and benches, and these long benches. And every morning the boys took out the benches. We had to go and arrange our class, and every afternoon put up.
So that's where the steel, so you were right. So where she's talking about, that's where eventually dunk
They
you and all
dunk
those
you
things.
and I was steel by the bench. It was a bang house.
Just put
Put them underneath
the
there, underneath the thing, yes, underneath the girls' school. It was called the girls' school, as I used to call it then.
So you mentioned Irma Hartley, mommy. Who else? What about her sister?
Evelyn?
No. So no. I mean, Miss what's her name? Miss Williams.
No, there was Elma.
Elma.
Elma was a nurse.
Okay.
She worked with Dr. Sebastian for years. Elma Williams from Depre. She was a nurse. She worked with Dr. Sebastian at the hospital down there. What about the nursing situation? You met anybody who was a nurse here? Nurse, apart from education.
I recall
Nurse
Nurse Thompson, Henry, and Simmons.
But she died?
Nurse Henry's?
No, Miss Simmons.
I'm
She had
not
a
sure.
brother, she had a son.
Joseph?
What his name was? Joseph?
Joseph Simmons?
Joe Simmons?
Yeah, Joe.
Yes, she was a nurse. They had
The husband drowned some years ago.
Thompson, the Thompson.
Not Thompson, Simmons.
Simmons,
Mr.
oh.
Simmons, not Simmons' husband. Used to live back there for the Box Road.
Yeah.
He,
Yes, they did, yes.
had a lunch and then went to swim shortly after. And he succumbed.
Oh,
But I recall going to school with Joe Simmons and his mother was Nurse
Yeah,
Simmons.
Simmons, yeah.
So those three nurses, Thompson, Simmons and Henry, are the ones I recall.
But the other person who worked in the nursing system down here. Dr. Sebastian was a doctor. He died. Dr. Kelsick. That is Ian Kelsick's father. He was a doctor down here.
Down here?
Dr. Kelsick.
Okay.
He was a doctor down here. And then he was here for years recall when I had Charlie. Dr. Kelsick was around.
My recollection is Dr. Jacobs.
Dr. Jacobs was down here too.
And then
And there was Hodge was here too, yes. So apart from the teaching, I mean, we had other occupations.
There was actually at the hospital a resident for the doctors. We don't have that today.
Well, they pulled it down after they built the new one. You see that vacant lot that is there between the hospital and the recreation ground?
Yep.
That was where the house was situated.
That's where the tree fell a few months ago and killed that young
I
man.
think so.
Yeah.
That's years ago.
I recall Dr. Jacobs, he used to drive a Austin, light blue Austin. I recall one Sunday morning he actually knocked down a young lady across there named Sandra.
Osdale Jacobs, he was named.
So you mentioned the mills, right? So one thing you may not know is that the Jacobs actually are mills. They actually related to us. Yes. So the Jacobs,
And
the shepherds in Bastille, the shepherds and the elms. You know,
Not the tall M, not Lisa, she's in the UK. She works with
So I'm sure you know a lot of the elms. So, you know Al Elms, who used to be on the radio.
That is true, yeah.
Right, well, right, and all of his brothers, all the shepherds, the Lawrences.
the family's
Jacobs,
from Sandy Point.
They're all from Sandy Point.
I found out that the Malalu are from Sandy Point.
The who?
Malulu family, the Malalu. Yeah, from Sandy Point. There's a place, an area in the churchyard designated to that family. I'm told that they were the last one who died. They had the ceremony in Bastille, but they brought him down and he's laid to rest in this. So a lot of names that you know, let me know, the M's and those guys from Sandy Point. It is said that a lot of the brain from Sandy Point went to Bastille and they created a area where they built homes for them. That's down the street there from the, before you get to Springfield, that's White Street there. And what I noted was the homes down Downing Street, they're identical to the ones they built, same architecture. And Sylvian Henry was the one who told me that was done to accommodate the folks who used to leave Sandy Point every day to go there to work, to Bastille, and saw a lot of brain of Sandy Point move to Bastille. And they built homes to accommodate them. So that's significant.
Yeah. And listen, and each person has to make their own decisions. I have, certainly, right? But one of the things my father, growing up, he never ever wanted to leave Sandy Point, right? He built his home here. I mean, there were a lot of people who decided, and he could have easily just gone and lived in Bastille, right? But he decided he wanted to live in Sandy Point at all costs, right? And so he wanted to be in the community where he grew up, and that was just something that was innate in him. And in spite of my going away, right, I'm not coming back because I got that from him. That certain Sandy Point is where it's at. It's not just talking about Sandy Point. You can talk about being a Sandy Pointer, but are you actually? And you don't have to live in Sandy Point to be a true Sandy Pointer, but it certainly makes it a lot easier to be living in the community, right? I walk around a lot. Now that I'm here back these last 6 months, I walk around a lot, and just being in Sandy Point.
You observe and you compare.
And it makes me much more attached. You were talking earlier about the behavior and the attitude of people, right? One thing that has not changed, and for that I'm eternally grateful, is that when I walk to Sandy Point, the thing that gives me just unmitigated joy is when I'm walking, unprompted, a child just says good afternoon or good morning.
Yes.
Right? They don't even think about it. Good afternoon, good morning, right? I mean, it's one thing for adults to do it, but when a child who's of school age, they don't know me from Adam, but they tell me good morning and good afternoon. I'm telling you, it almost brings tears to my eyes every time they do that to me, right? Because it is something that is so unique to St. Kitts, and certainly within Sandy Point, it is not that I don't see that much in Bastille, maybe it is, but within Sandy Point, as I'm going around, almost without exception, not everybody, I'm not going to say it's the same, but you still get people saying good morning and good afternoon to you just when you're passing by for no other reason than to say good morning and good afternoon.
This is coincidental. I'm writing a song for one of my sons. I have a recording studio, and he's going to come to the studio on Saturday. He's doing a song called Have a Nice Day. We're speaking about when we meet and greet, good morning, how you doing, neighbor looking out for neighbor.
Yeah.
I want a song to play like maybe every morning on the radio. Good morning, how you doing, have a nice day. To bring back that, we can use the music for that. Yeah. And so as I said, this is coincidental, but I have that song in my head. We need to get those songs on the radio. Good morning, have a nice day, this and that. It's inherent in us. And so when I go to New York and I'm saying hello, good morning, hello, people want to know.
People watching your screen.
But I tell them I take me with me anywhere I go.
Yep.
I want to let that change me.
Yep.
So it's good to come back home and have that feeling and embrace it. But when you're up there, I do it. Good morning, how are you doing?
And the good night, when you say good night, it confuses people. Up there is that when you tell people good night, there is like you're saying goodbye. But here you greet people with good night. Yeah. Right? And that is something that
it's cultural.
Yeah, it is.
And I want to thank you for keeping that part of you, because a lot of us go out there and we are assimilating to those cultures and we forget who we are and what we represent. Anywhere you go. I'm in the UK, very mannerly people. Good morning. I'm in my setting. The people from a lot of Africans I meet in and because of my little beard, they address me as uncle. How do you uncle? There's that sign of respect for seniority. This and that, so it's beautiful. Give me a couple of days. I'm gonna have this back at you. Today's what? Today's Wednesday. By Friday, you should have a copy of this. You'll be able to stay home and just look at it and view. And any suggestions for editing, let me know, and we'll take it from there. Okay?
Sounds good. Anything else right now?
I don't remember anything else.
Okay.
Only that we lived there first in that house. That's where we lived at first, in that pink house.
You mean across there?
That pink house. They're carrying it.
Sure, another. I go up doing that.
That is where we.
There was you, there was Ronnie, there was you asked me if I know the senior. I know.
Miss Ada.
Yeah.
Miss Ada lived next door, and then Edinburgh, Abby. Remember Abby? Abby lived right in the corner.
He thought he was a dentist.
And then the Rubens.
Just below. Then the Mills.
And then Mr. Richards on
Warner. Yeah. When I left here last week, walking home, I passed where Hammy used to live.
No, up the road up there.
Remember Hammy?
Hammy, yes.
I want to take a picture if I'm back.
His wife. You don't remember Hammy who had...
with the wooden neck?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I call him with his rubber tire.
Rubber on his thing, Hammy.
I want to take a picture of his house. I took a picture of the cab of a truck. You remember the truck you mentioned? There's one up there below where Smith lived. Took a picture of that too.
The top of it, yes.
Took a picture of that. So I'm gonna go. Well, my battery's not working. This is plugged in. So sometime later on, once it's charged, I'm gonna go and take a picture of that house and tell the story with Hammy as best I can.
We around Mr. Brown. Hammy used to be around Mr. Brown, the goldsmith.
Yes, he used to walk down there.
Yeah.
Hammy was the father of one of my cousins. Elva, you may not remember her, one of my aunts. She had killed, as a matter of fact, one of her daughters died a few months ago. Dita from down there.
Oh, Dita was her daughter?
Dita was her daughter. Well, she had a son, Fahami. I don't know what stage, it was before his amputation or what, but she had a son. You used to call him Kelly Bat. Kelly Bat, he's now in, he's a Christian, he's living in St. Peter's, but still identifies as a Sandy Pointer. But I'm gonna try and see how much you get about Hammy from other persons, because he was integral.
Yes.
Integral. So yeah, you have my number. If you want me to stop by for next half an hour to whatever you capture, look at early. Early. I don't know if it was Mr. Hill's son. Then Mr. Hill?
Who?
Mr. Hill.
Hill.
The tall man,
Hill, yes,
black strap to you, may not
Live
recall
down
it.
down there.
But he used to live in the same house that Eardley was living in. So we called to give him a second passport picture against the house. But Eardley, he's whatever happened to his foot.
But whatever, I
Somewhere.
know. Yes, he had another brother, Pat.
Could be.
I taught Audley in school, I know.
Really?
I taught him in school, yeah.
He made me get licks one day from 5 o'clock. One of those Wednesday afternoon school. Man interfered with me, and I reacted, and 5 o'clock came just in time. Caught me, give me. I think that bothered me all my life for a very, very long time, and this is just share it, it's not a here with you. Good off. It's approximately 12:40, and for the past 2.5 hours, we of the Sandy Point Heritage Society have been sitting and speaking with, I would call her Lady Sylvia Mills, former educator, and we've been discussing her life as a teacher, her influences, the changes she saw in the system over the many years, the challenges she's endured, her successes, and just generally sharing her story in what we hope to become part of the story of Sandy Point. Assisting her is a tall, handsome son. We know him as Charlie Mills, but he's actually Charles Mills Jr. And we did cover some of the history of his father, who was instrumental in changing the education system in Sandy Point. They want to introduce comprehensive education in the system. So we have lots of footage and lots of contribution made by the Mills, Miss Lady Mills, input from her son, and we have lots to share. I want to thank you very much for inviting me into your home to be able to record some of your life story. At the time of the interview, we mentioned that you're 93 years old, and that's a milestone I hope I could meet. A lot of us don't make it, so congratulations on that. And I can only say thank you one more time. If within the next few days there's anything that you want to record, you want to share, give me a call. I'll be happy and honored to come and record it. So thank you, Lady Mills. Thank you, Charlie. And thanks for your patience. This was planned a few times, but because of circumstances, it's been put off. Eventually, it's done, and we can only hope that it served the purpose for which it's done. We've had about 2.5 hours of discourse. Thank you very much. So say to your friends.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. And God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You shall have a copy. They don't call me Carlton or by Friday, you should have a copy of this and give me feedback on it, right? Thank you very much. So, there you have it. Teacher Mrs. Mills, Mr. Sylvia Mills, making a contribution to the story of Sandy Point. We thank you for viewing, and we wish you would stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Remember, this is a production of the Sandy Point Heritage Society. My name is King Socrates. It's been a pleasure. See you in future episodes.